It was Christmas Eve, and snow blanketed the mountain slopes like a soft white quilt. 5 close friends, Emily, Jake, Sarah, Ryan, and Megan, decided to celebrate the holiday in an old cabin that belonged to Jake's family. The cabin was nestled deep in the woods, surrounded by tall pine trees, and hadn't been used in years. When they arrived, the cabin was cold and eerily quiet. Emily lit the fireplace while Ryan carried firewood inside. The old furniture and creaky wooden floors gave the place a nostalgic charm, though it felt slightly unsettling. Sarah kept glancing at the windows. "It feels like someone's watching us," she whispered. Jake dismissed her concern with a laugh, assuring everyone it was just their imagination. Later that night, the group gathered around the dining table, playing old Christmas records and sharing laughs. But gradually, the atmosphere began to shift. The warmth from the fireplace started to fade, and the room felt colder. Megan pulled her blanket closer. "Maybe it's just the cold from outside," she said, though her voice wavered. Emily went to add more logs to the fire when she noticed something inside the fireplace, a piece of paper. "Was this here before?" she asked, pulling it out. Jake took it and read it aloud. "Do not wake it." The group fell silent. They tried to laugh it off, convincing themselves it was just an old prank, but the unease lingered. An hour later, Ryan decided to explore the cabin further. The others followed him, finding dusty furniture, old photos, and other relics of Jake's family. In a corner, Sarah noticed a locked door. "What's behind this?" she asked. Jake explained it was the basement and that his grandfather had warned him never to open it. But with Megan's encouragement, Jake retrieved an old key and unlocked the door. Cold air rushed out as they opened it, revealing a dark, stone-walled basement. They hesitated before descending. In the center of the floor, a large red circle was drawn, with strange symbols etched around it. At its center sat a small black box. "What do you think is inside?" Jake asked, stepping closer. Sarah warned him not to touch it, but Jake's curiosity got the better of him. He opened the box. Inside was a small metallic orb. The moment he lifted it, a whisper echoed around the basement. "I am free now." The basement's temperature plummeted. Shadows flickered across the walls, and the basement door slammed shut behind them. Emily saw shapes moving in the corners, while Sarah screamed. In the darkness, a woman with long black hair and a pale face appeared. She wore a torn white dress, her hollow eyes fixed on them. "You called me," she whispered. Panic set in as they tried to escape, but the door wouldn't budge. The whispers grew louder, filling the room with an unbearable noise. Jake suddenly collapsed as the woman approached him. By morning, the snowy mountain stood eerily silent, as if the events of the previous night had never occurred. Jake and his friends were never heard from again. When the locals came to investigate the cabin, they found no trace of the group. The fireplace was cold, the dining table was still cluttered, but the friends had vanished without a trace. However, just outside the cabin door, in a patch of snow untouched by footprints, lay a red circle etched into the ground. At its center was the metal orb, its surface faintly glowing with strange, shifting symbols. An elder from the village, known for his knowledge of old legends, inspected it cautiously. "This is a sign," he muttered. "Something was summoned, and it's still here." No one dared to touch the orb, but a curious young boy eventually picked it up. The moment his fingers grazed its surface, he let out a blood-curdling scream and dropped it. The orb rolled back into the circle, as if it belonged there and refused to leave. From that day forward, the cabin was declared cursed. No one dared to climb the mountain again. Yet the locals whispered that the orb was a key, a prison for an ancient entity. Whoever dared to release it again would restart the nightmare.